Automated to record.
Changes and transports for client specific objects. Automatic recording of changes should be there, right? See, this is 100 is my development client. See, for 100, the setting should be automatic recording of changes. If this setting is automatic recording of changes, and for client specific objects, what are the client specific objects we are having? User master data, application data, and client specific customizing data. But user master data, if I do any changes to user master data, will it create a transport request? No.
No.
If I do any application change, will it create a transport request? No. Only client specific customization data will create a transport request. If you are having this setting now, if you should do any client specific customization, it will create as a customizing request. What is that? It will create a customizing request. And if you're for cross client changes, your setting should be
Workbench.
changes to repository and cross client customizing allowed. If you allow, that's it. That is enough. It should be recorded as a transport request. Remember that. Is it clear? Any doubt here? We discussed all these things already.
Yeah.
Clear. So CTO, change transport. What is CTO? SE06. So after installation, before configuring TMS, you need to hit one T code called SE06, mandatory T code. Remember. So you will be getting two options: standard installation, database copy, or migration. If your system is a fresh installation, then go with standard installation and say perform post installation activities. If your system is a result of database copy or migration, then choose second option. Do you want to reinstall CTS? Yes. Then hit STMS T code and configure TMS. First of all, you have to hit SE06, then STMS T code. How to configure, we will see tomorrow. Okay. So another point is what? TMS. TP tools gone. TMS. What is TMS? For example, I'm in my landscape, I'm having three systems. One is development system, quality system, and production system. So all the systems as a group, we call it as a domain. Domain means you'll be having domain name. Domain means your company name, right? So all the systems comes under one domain. For example, I'm having three systems here. All these three systems are don't listen to the class while driving, boss. Okay. So all the systems comes under one domain. In my organization, I'm having three systems. So the first system, and one of the R3 system is called as a domain controller. One of the R3 system. This is also, everything is a R3 system only. SAP system means it is R3 system only. It should have three layers: presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. Here development system is the R3 system, quality also R3 system, and production also R3 system. All the systems comes under one domain. Every domain has a domain controller. Means in a class you will be having one leader, right? The same way in this domain you will be having one leader. That leader is called as domain controller. The important interview question: what is domain controller? Domain controller is one of the R3 system in your domain. This is one of the R3 system in your domain. Any system can be domain controller, not only development. You can choose quality as a domain controller. You can choose production also as a domain controller. So one of the R3 system should be domain controller. It acts as a leader for all the systems. It acts as a leader for all the systems. And it holds reference configuration information of TMS. What is the meaning of reference configuration? Reference means what? Copy. Reference configuration information means copy of configuration information. What is configuration here? What is this TMS? In TMS, how many systems participated? The root from where to where your transport request has to travel, what is your domain controller, what is your backup domain controller, what is your domain name, everything. These configuration information's reference copy of this configuration information will be with domain controller. So as a leader of the class, you should know all the pupils information, right? Without knowing all the pupils, can you be the leader? No. The same way, this domain controller is one of the R3 system in domain. It acts as a leader for all the systems in a domain. First point. The second point is, it holds a reference configuration information of TMS. It's nothing but, for example, if you take your system now, if you're having the TMS information in your trans directory, what is your transport directory? USR SAP
Yes, yes, it is.
trans, USR SAP trans. Wait. USR SAP trans, under bin directory, you'll be having domain configuration information. See, this is domain.cfg file. This file contains all the systems information which are participated in this TMS. This information will be with the domain controller. So here I am having domain configuration file, means it is a domain controller. Remember that. This is what domain configuration file. So domain controller is one of the R3 system in domain which acts as a leader for all the systems, and it holds a reference configuration information of TMS. Third point, sometimes it shares its a transport directory as a common transport directory for all the systems. What is the meaning of transport directory? Transport directory means, for example, USR SAP trans is my transport directory, right? USR SAP trans. Every system is having its own USR SAP trans directory. Every system is having its own USR SAP trans. This is development systems USR SAP trans is different. This is on different host. This is on different host. This is on different host. Every system is having different USR SAP trans directory, right? So what it will do, the domain controller generally, it shares its transport directory as a common transport directory. See this image. So this is development systems USR SAP trans. The directory is shared between quality, production, development. That means your development system, quality system, and production system, all these three systems are having the same transport directory. This development system is sharing its directory to all these systems. So what happens, what is the goodness of this US sharing its transport directory? Means, for example, from here, if I export the data, what happens? It will go to its USR SAP trans co-file and data file. The same directory is pointing to quality, same directory is pointing to production. So you need not to copy that physical files from this USR SAP trans to this USR SAP trans, then this USR SAP trans to this USR SAP trans. So export, and you can directly import into quality, directly you can import into production. You need not to copy. Are you getting what I am trying to say? If your domain controller is sharing its transport directory as a common transport directory, you can do export and import. If it is not sharing, then you have to export, then co-file data file you have to copy to this USR SAP trans, then import. Then you have to again copy this co-file data file to this USR SAP trans, then you need to import. So that is the difference between sharing a transport directory and not sharing a transport directory. So domain, it is not mandatory to share. Sometimes domain control, if your wish, if you want to share your domain controller's transport directory to common for all the systems, you can share. If you don't want to share, you cannot share. That is your wish. So overall, the domain controller is one of the R3 system in domain which acts as a leader for all the systems, and it holds a reference configuration information of TMS. Reference configuration information means entire TMS configuration information, and it holds its transport directory as a common transport directory for all the systems. Any doubts here? In domain and domain controller. Domain means the group all comes under one domain. Under that domain, you will be having one domain controller, means one of the main system. All these three systems are R3 systems only. It acts as a leader. So this will share its transport directory for common transport directory if you want to wish. Otherwise, no. And it holds its reference configuration information for all the systems. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The new guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So see, the first system, the development system is called as integration system. First system is called as integration system. And the second system, quality system, is called as consolidated system. Integration. Why it is calling as an integration system? Where the integration, the development is happening. The main thing is happening where? In development system. That is the reason I am calling it as integration system. The next, your quality system is called as a consolidated system. Whatever the developments you do in your development, that will be moved to quality system. There it will be merged, consolidated and tested. That is the reason I am calling it as consolidation, means merging, consolidated system. And the final system is what? Your delivery system, where you want to deliver that developments from development to quality, quality to finally production. That is the reason I am calling it as delivery system. Remember, first system is called as integration system, the second system is called as consolidation system, third system is called as delivery system. Now these three are individual systems. Is there any communication between these three systems? No. Is there any communication between these three systems? No. Three individual systems. I want to move the data from here to here, here to here. If you want to move some object, for example, if you want to move some object from Hyderabad to Vijayawada, what you need first? You need a route, transport route. You should have a route to Hyderabad to Vijayawada. From Hyderabad to Vijayawada, you need a route. So first of all, if you want to move anything from here to here, here to here, if you want to transport something, you need a road, right? So for that, you need to draw your transport route from development system to quality system. The logical path drawn between the systems are called as transport route. Transport route, not directory. Transport directory is that USR SAP trans. The route drawn between your integration system to consolidation system is called as transport routes. The route drawn between the two systems are called as transport routes. And from here to here also you need a transport route. See, here we are having some difference. From integration system to consolidation system, we are having two way. From consolidation system to delivery system, only one way. Why? See, here the route drawn between integration system to consolidation system is called as consolidation route. The route drawn between consolidation system to delivery system is called as a delivery route. For example, you are standing at LB Nagar signal and you are pointing towards Vijayawada. What road you say? Is it LB Nagar road or Vijayawada highway? What you call it as? Vijayawada highway. Right? So we mention the target. We mention target. We give that road name as a target road name, right? Our highway is what? Mumbai highway. Right, here we are at Hyderabad. Our highway is Mumbai highway. So we don't call it as Hyderabad highway. So we always talk about the destination. So that what is my destination? From here to here, what is my destination? Consolidated system. That is the reason we are calling it as consolidation route. From here to here, what is the destination? Delivery system. That is the reason we are calling it as delivery route. The route drawn between the system, the logical path drawn between the systems are called as transport routes. This is transport route. This is also transport route only. But the route drawn between integration system to consolidation system is called as consolidation route. The route drawn between consolidation system to delivery system is called as delivery route. So this transport route will tell you the role of the systems and flow of the transport request. Role of the systems means what? Consolidation route. So on a left side in consolidation route, you will be having integration system, and on a right side you will be having consolidation system. So this consolidation route is telling you, this transport route is telling you the role of the system, yes or no? If I am having consolidation route, means that means in left side I will be having integration route, right side I am having consolidation route. And flow of the transport request. So consolidation route means, okay, the transport request is moving from development to quality. By looking at the route name, you can tell the role of the systems and flow of the transport request. Here, listen to the definitions properly. What is domain controller? What is transport route? What is transport layer? What is domain controller? Domain controller is one of the R3 system in domain. It acts as a leader for all the systems, and it holds the reference configuration information, and it shares its transport directory as a common transport directory for all the systems. That is about domain controller. And the transport route, or you can say route. Transport route means it's a logical path drawn between the systems. Logical path drawn between the systems, which will tell you the role of the systems and flow of the transport request. Is it fine with everyone? What is transport
Sir,
route?
domain control will be any system in the domain, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
You kept the name as the development, na? It can be anyone, na?
I can't give you example as a 3, na? I can take only one. So I am taking here development. If you want, you can draw the same image with quality as your domain controller, or else production as
Not
your
like that, just as a doubt.
yeah, you can have anything. Okay, so transport, this is transport route. See, if you observe consolidation route, this consolidation route requires transport layers. Why layers? SAP is one layer name, ZSID is another layer name. SAP means for standard objects. For example, if you do any modification, enhancement, for what you do modification? For standard objects. For what you do enhancement? For standard objects. That standard objects will go from this layer. And the customizing, your new developments or customizing changes, that will be starting with Y or Z, right? Whatever the new programs, new T codes, new report, if you create in SAP, the standard naming convention for that is Y or Z. Only 2 alphabets you can use. So this is Z SID. What is your SID here? Dev. So this name will be Z Dev. So customizing objects will go from this layer, standard objects will go from this layer. When it comes to quality, they will be consolidated, merged and tested. After quality, already consolidated, tested, merged. So you don't need 2 layers here. For consolidation route, you need transport layers. For delivery route, you don't need any transport layers. Single route is enough. So important interview questions are transport layer, transport route, and transport layers naming convention. For standard, the naming convention is SAP. For customizing, the naming convention is ZSID. And consolidation route needs transport layers. Delivery route doesn't require any transport layer. Only one single transport route is enough. So can anyone tell me the definitions? Transport domain controller.
It is one of the R3
It is
systems.
one of the R3 system.
It holds the reference configuration as
Okay.
TMS. It will tell
It is a
the
whole flow.
which
Try. Domain controller. It is one of the R3 system in domain. It acts as a leader.
It
Yes.
acts as a related.
Okay.
it holds the reference.
It holds a reference configuration information of the TMS.
Okay.
It shares its transport
This is
directory.
transport
as a
directory.
common-
Transport directory and
That's
common
excellent.
transport directory.
Excellent. That's it. What is transport route?
The road
The logical path routes between the systems is called as the transport route.
The logical path drawn between the systems are called as transport route,
which
and which will tell you.
Which can
will tell you the role.
Role of the system and flow of
Role
the
of the
transport
system
request.
and flow of the transport request.
Flow of the transport.
Excellent. That's it. That's it. And what is a transport layer? Consultation
The
route.
transport
The consult,
Yeah.
The route drawn between
the route between the
What is consultation route?
the route drawn
the route
between
between the integration system to consolidation system is
It's called as consultation. What is delivery route?
consolidation system to
The route drawn between consolidation system to delivery system is called
The
as
route
delivery
drawn
route.
between consolidation system to delivery system is called as delivery route. Okay. Consultation route requires transport layers. One layer.
Yes.
What is the layer's name? One layer name is SID.
Standard
Standard.
layer SAP.
Standard SAP. For
Standard
customizing
standard
objects,
SAP.
ZSID.
GSA.
Z.
Okay, ZRZ. Okay.
Yeah.
This is how we configure the TMS. How to configure, we'll see tomorrow. And the theory part we'll cover today. Okay, before understanding this TMS, first we'll look into that transport directory. What is the transport directory? USR SAP trans. So for example, whenever you export the data from the source system, where it is going, the data is in the database level, right? This USR SAP transit, USR directory means your application directory or database directory?
application.
Application data.
That means the data is coming from database to application layer, database layer to application layer to USR SAP trans directory. So logical formatted data will be in your database. When I release the transport request, the associated data will be exported to your application levels USR SAP trans directory in a physical files format into your co file and the data file folders. So this transport directory contains few subdirectories. One of the major subdirectories is co-file and the another one is a data file. Co-file and a data file. The co-file naming convention is starting with K and the data file naming convention will be R. That means if you release one transport request, for example, I'm having one transport request with me. Where is that? Yeah. From development system, I am having this transport request. What this transport request is having? Some customizing change request, client specific customization, right? I have changed that. Some local setting, I have changed that. Immediately one transport request is generated. If I release that transport request, means that change is in your database level. If I release that, what happens? It will come to USR SAP trans directories, co-file and data file location. Two files will be generated. One is one saved in co-file, another one will be saved in your data file. Co-file contains controlling information. Co-file contains the controlling information and the data file contains actual data. What data you want to transfer, that will be in your data file. The co-file contains the controlling information. See, if you see the size, this is 1 KB and the data file is 3 MB almost. Means actual data is here. Whatever the data you want to change, that data will be exported to your application levels USR SAP trans directory. That data file naming convention will be starting with R and your transport request number. And your co-file naming convention is starting with K. Important interview question. Co-file and data file naming convention, co-file starts with K, data file starts with R. So when I release a transport request, immediately in application level you will be getting one co-file and another data file. That means your transport request is released, or else you can say exported. Now you copy this co-file data file to copy this co-file and data file to quality systems co-file and data file. Then import it. That's what TMS. So from logical to physical we are converting, from physical to logical we are importing. That is what export plus copy plus import is called TMS. Can you please relog in? So if you observe this trans directory, now you'll be having some folders. One is main things are bin, buffer, co-file, data file, EPS, log, and SAP names, temp. So what are these actually? So if you take this bin directory, you'll be having two files here. One is a domain configuration file, second one is TP profile. The naming conventions are important. Domain.cfg, domain configuration file. I told you, your domain controller will share reference configuration information of your TMS. That means this file. This file contains all your domains information. What all the systems are involving in this domain and this TMS configuration, all the systems information will be in that domain configuration file. If that file gone, your entire TMS won't work. Your TMS won't work. And this TP profile. What is this TP profile? What is TP exactly? So we divided this concept into three parts, right? One is CTO, second one is TMS, third one is TP tools. So for doing export and import, what is TMS? Exporting and importing, right? So who will do this export? Who will do this import? So to do this export and import activity, we are having two executable files. One is tp.exe, second one is r3trans.exe. tp.exe and r3trans.exe. You can find these two at your kernel directory. tp.exe, r3trans.exe. What is your kernel directory? USR, SAP, SID, exe, UC. Here you will be having tp.exe, see, and r3trans.exe, r3trans.exe. This tp.exe and r3trans.exe, these two are the important executable files for exporting the data and importing the data. So how your TP should work, that will be written in your TP profile. That will be written in your TP profile. USR SAP trans. Under bin directory, you will be having TP profile. The naming convention is TP underscore domain underscore SID.pfl. Here my SID is Dave. TP underscore domain underscore SID.pfl. If this file is gone, your TMS won't work. Remember, these two are the important files. One is a domain configuration file. Second one is TP profile. This is .cfg. This is .pfl. How your TP should behave, how your TP should work, entire things will be written in this. And you should not edit, you should not delete these two files. When you configure TMS, you will get these two files. Before configuring TMS, you won't get it. After configuration only, you will get these two files. If you configure TMS in your system, then check your bin directory, you will get these two files. One is domain configuration file, domain.cfg file. Second one is TP profile, TP underscore domain underscore SID.pfl. You should not edit or you should not delete them. Buffer. What is buffer? Buffer means a temporary storage area. When you release a transport request from development system, it will be automatically added to next target system. What is your next target system here? QUA. So it will be added to qualities buffer. If you import into the quality, immediately it will be added to productions buffer. The temporary storage area for your target systems are your buffer. Co-file, and you know what is co-file. Co-file contains controlling information. When you release a transport request, two files will be generated. One is co-file, second one is data file. Co-file will be place it in co-file folder, and the data file will be located in your data file folder. What is your co-file means? It is having the controlling information, means what type of transport request it is, whether it is a customizing request or a workbench request, what is that? And to import this data into the target system, we need some background jobs to be run. What are that background jobs that will be present in this your co-file? And the TP return codes. Return code means what? If you after importing, you will be getting one return code. 0 means successful, 4 means warnings, 8 means errors, 12 means a fatal error. So all these return codes and the necessary jobs, everything will be written in your co-file. And in your data file, actual data will be written. Actual data will be residing in data file. In co-file, you don't have that actual data. For example, I written some program in my development system. I want to move that to quality. One transport request created and release the transport request. Immediately, 2 files will be generated. One is co-file, second one is data file. This data file contains actual program what I have written. This co-file contains, to import this data into the target system, few background jobs need to be run. That background jobs information will be there, and the TP return codes and the transport request type. All controlling information of your transport request will be there in your co-file. And the naming convention is K. Data file naming convention is R, and actual data will be in your data file. So where will be my program saved? Co-file and data file. Data file. If I want to move some data, I created a transport request and I release a transport request. What happens when I release means internally export happened. When it is exported into 2 files, one is co-file, second one is data file. Where is my actual data?
Data file.
In data file. That co-file contains, to import this data into the target system, what are the background jobs need to be run, and what are the TP return codes, everything will be in your data files. Okay?
Sorry, co-files.
Co-files. EPS. The next directory is EPS, Electronic Parser Service. In that, you will be having one thing called inbox. EPS inbox. USR SAP trans EPS in. It is not related to your transports. It is related to your patches. Support packages. Support packages means what? If your system is having any programmatical error or any bugs, what SAP will do? On a regular basis, they'll release some bug fixes. So where your database is, where your software is residing in the database, in which format? Logical format. How can you import into the logical format? To import into a logical format, first you should have a physical file. Na? So SAP is giving the physical file and we are keeping it into EPS in directory. Why we are keeping it into EPS in directory means support package importation also nothing but transportation only. Importation is what? We are not exporting. In TMS, we are exporting and we are importing. In support package, SAP is giving the physical files. That files we are importing into the database directly. Here in TMS, we are creating the physical files and we are importing the physical files into the logical database. In support packages, SAP is giving the physical files. That code, the code corrections, they are giving in the physical files format. That we kept in your TMS directory, transport directory, and we directly import. We need not to export that. Directly we can import into the target database. For that reason, we are using EPS directory, Electronic Parser Service. EPS in. Fourth one is log. Logs. In these logs, you will be having A log, S log, and U log, action log. What is that? A system log, user log, and action log. When you are importing a transport request, if you get any problem, if you want to check the logs related to your transport, you can see in this log directory. These logs will be generated. If the logs are not generating and your temp directory is not updating, temp is what? Temporary execution area. I told you, to import some data into the target system, you need to run some background jobs. That information will be kept in your co-file. So while executing that background jobs, it requires some space to execute the programs. To runtime, it needs some space to execute. It will use this temp area. Why you use temp directory in your system? Your system internally will having temp directory, right? Why? At the time of execution of any programs, reports, screens, it will use that area for the runtime. The same way in TMS also, we need a temp directory to execute that background jobs. So if your transport is running, it is hanged. If you want to know whether your transport is running or hanged, just open this temp directory. Some files are coming and vanishing. That means your program is running, your transport is importing. If you don't observe any changes in the temp directory, that means your transport is hanged, or else it is already finished. Both the things. And SAP names is nothing but the people who are associated with TMS, means the people who are involved in this TMS, that names will be written here. The people who are having transport authorizations, TMS and authorization, SC06 authorization, SC01, SC10, SC09 authorization, who are creating transport request, who are releasing transport request, who are importing transport request, their all names will be at SAP names. So the important directories here are, can anyone?
Profile and data file.
What is your
Profile and data file.
what is your transport directory? USR SAP?
Tran.
USR SAP
Trans.
trans, right? USR SAP trans.
Trans.
And
Under the trans, we will be having some subdirectories. One is bin. Second one,
Buffer.
bin,
buffer,
Profiles,
Profile.
profile,
Data files.
data
data
file,
file,
EBS,
EPS inbox. You can say EPS in
inbox,
log,
Log.
log file,
SAP
SAP
names.
name.
SAP names.
names,
And
temp.
temp.
These are the important directories. Bin contains what?
It contains the transport profile and domain
Transport.
configuration.
Excellent. Two files. One is domain configuration file
domain configuration,
And
and a TP profile.
TP profile.
and TP profile.
TP profile.
What are the naming conventions?
Domain
Domain
dot CFG
dot DCFG,
Okay.
and TP underscore
TP
domain
underscore
underscore
domain
SID dot
underscore
PFL.
SAP dot.
Excellent. Excellent. This buffer contains target
It is a
system buffer.
temporary storage area.
Trans target
Temporary storage area. It contains target system buffer. Cofile contains
Some metadata information.
Such
metadata.
metadata,
You can say metadata.
controlling the information.
Controlling information. What is the meaning of metadata, ma'am? Metadata. Data about data. So some people will say data about data, but the actual definition is the properties of the data, attributes of the data. Here, what is our data? Transport request is our data, right? So the properties of the data, attributes of the data, the information of related to the transport request, that will be stored in your cofile. Now, what is the naming convention for cofile? Anyone? Starts with
K. Starts with K.
K9 lakh.
K9 lakh.
yeah. What is a data file?
Actual
Actual
data.
data.
It's the
Actual data is
Actual
saved here.
data
Data
of the
file.
file.
What is the naming convention? R.
Starts with R.
EPS in. What is
Temporary
EPS?
parcel service.
What
It's
is
a downloaded directory.
yeah?
Developer process service.
Yeah, directory for transport request. You can say sorry, directory for your patches for support packages. Not only for support packages, your EHP upgradation also, the files will be extracted to this
Extracted
location.
EPS.
EPS in directory. Log is for logs. Your transport
Logs,
request related
log,
logs,
log,
right?
transport
This log
request
contains
related
S
logs.
log, U log,
S log,
S log,
U
U
log,
log,
A log,
and
A
A
log.
log. SAP names means
The
So
users who are
program means
associated with
removes the age requests to the program.
yes, the users who are working on associated with your TMS will be SAP names. Temp is a temporary
storage.
Temporary,
temporary execution area.
temporary box, exhibition.
You can say temporary execution area. So they will ask you in interview, what is a transport directory? USR SAP trans explain. So it contains bin, buffer, cofile, data file, EPS in, log, SAP names, temp. You have to explain about each and every subdirectory of trans directory. And they'll ask you about domain controller and transport route, transport layer, what is consolidation route, what is delivery route, what is transport organizer, what is customizing request, what is workbench request. Okay, and they'll ask you what is backup domain controller. There is one concept called backup domain controller. If you say your development is your domain controller, you can choose another system as a backup domain controller. So this is my domain controller. You can choose quality or production as a backup domain controller. If your production is your domain controller, then you can choose development or quality as a backup domain controller. That means if your domain controller is down, the other system, your backup domain controller will act as a domain controller. And they'll be asking another question also. What is that question? Transport group. What is transport group means? The systems which are sharing the common transport directory comes under one transport group. In this image, all the systems, all these three systems are sharing common transport directory. Yes. So I'm calling it as one transport group. If your systems are having their own transport directories, how many transport groups I have here? 3 transport. This is one transport group. This is another transport group. This is another. If they are sharing, so you can have 2 transport groups also here. Development and quality are sharing one transport directory, and for production separate transport directory. Then 2 transport groups. Now every system is having its own USR SAP trans directory, right? So they all belongs to different transport groups. They'll ask you this question. What is transport group means? The systems which are sharing common transport directory comes under one transport group. You can have single transport group in a landscape. You can have multiple transport groups in a landscape. That is your wish. You can decide. What is customizing request, guys?
When we release a
When we release a transport request, any client specific changes as a customizing.
If you do any client specific changes,
Specific question.
it will be regarded as a customizing
organizer
request.
as a customizing request.
Excellent. What is workbench request?
If you do any cross-client
If you do
changes,
any cross-client
then it will be
changes,
recorded by
it will be recorded by the
workbench
Okay.
organizer as a
request.
workbench request.
Okay. Okay. One standard program is there. Standard SAP program is there. I am modifying it. Which type of transport request it will create?
That workbench request.
Workbench request.
Are you sure? Listen to the question properly. Listen to the question twice.
Yes, sir.
There is a standard SAP program. I am modifying that program. Which type of transport request it will create?
Customizing request.
Customize.
See, this is your confidence level. 3. Your first answer is correct, boss. Workbench request.
Workbench request.
Yes, sir.
Modifying repository. Modifying in the sense repository.
Yes, modifying means I told you standard SAP object. Standard SAP program is repository only. You are modifying that.
Yes, sir.
That means it should create workbench request. If I confuse you, you should not confuse, right? When you are having the clarity.
Yeah, Ranjit told right, sir.
Yeah.
For the second
Okay,
time?
sir.
Okay. So, for example, one new program I'm creating, or as a Y program or Z program I'm creating. What type of transport request it will create?
Customizing request.
New program I'm creating means is it coming under development or custom modification or enhancement?
Development.
Development. Means which type of
Development, sir.
transport request it will create? You're right.
Customized specific only, sir.
Customize.
Class
Customize.
client only,
Customizing
boss.
request.
Yeah, I'm creating a new repository object. New program means what? New repository object I am creating. Repository means
Workbench.
class client only, workbench request. See, developments, modifications, enhancements, cross client objects. It will create a workbench request. In customization also, two customizations are there. If it is client specific customization, customizing request. If it is cross client customization, workbench request. For cross client customization, workbench request. For developments, modifications, enhancements, workbench request. Only for client specific customization only you will get customizing request. So in my organization, I am having some functional people and some developers. ABAPer is what ABAPer creates, which type of transport request regularly ABAPer will create. Workbench request or a customizing request?
Workbench request.
ABAPers will do modifications, enhancements, and developments.
Enhancement, developments. Yeah.
So almost your ABAPers requests are workbench request. And your functional people what they do, they'll just change the currency, the country, the taxation. There will be number of options will be there. From that options they'll select one. Mostly they'll change up to that particular client. Customizing request, your functional people will create customizing request. Your developers will create workbench request most of the times. Remember that. What type of change request a basis consultant will create?
Customizing.
Customizing, sir. It's a local.
Local, sir.
That is your homework. Tomorrow I need answers. Chalo, that's it for the
Yes,
day.
sir.
Any doubts?